This is part 10 of the series Calculus Prerequisites, and this part we're going to start off with the derivation of the quadratic formula, just to show you where it comes from, and it's a really valuable exercise in working through some algebraic rigor. So what we're going to do to derive the quadratic formula is we're going to take the standard form of a quadratic equation and complete the square on it. We're going to solve this by completing the square. And by solving this equation by completing the square, we will have the quadratic formula. So if you wish to maximize the benefit you derive from this video, my suggestion would be pause the video and try to complete the square on this equation. And then come back and we'll walk through each one of the pieces and you can compare your process with mine. So go ahead and pause now, and then we'll start in. Welcome back. I hope you were successful. What I've done to start the process here is I've done what I usually do, and I've pulled out my c value. So I have ax squared plus bx, pulled out my c value, and gave myself some space for my third term here and the term that I'm going to offset what I'm adding here with the third term for. Now, what I need to do is I need to use the distributive property to pull out this a. So I'm going to divide both of these terms by a. So that gives me the a on the outside here. And we have x squared plus bx over a, because we're dividing both of these by a. Then I got to give myself some space here. And give myself some space here. Now, to give our third term, it's going to take the coefficient of this middle term divided by 2, so we'll put that up here. So we have b over a. We're going to divide it by 2, which is b over 2a, and then we're going to square it, which gives us b squared over 4a squared. So this is our third term. So this is plus b squared over 4a squared. Now, since we added this, we have to subtract it, but remember, we're multiplying everything inside here by an a. So this subtraction out here is going to be a times this piece. So it's a b squared over 4a squared. All right, now we're going to go ahead and take our perfect square trinomial, and we're going to turn that into a squared binomial. So we have a times square root of the first term, that sign, square root of our third term, which is b over 2a. And since this is a binomial squared, we have a squared term. Now we rewrite this plus c minus a b squared over 4a squared. And these a's are going to cancel out here. So we have this a and that cancels out. And let's not forget to put our equals 0 here. So let's rewrite a times x plus b over 2a squared plus c minus b squared over 4a equals 0. Now what I want to do is take these two terms and put them on the other side. So we have a and we're going to add the b squared over 4a. And subtract c. Now we want to divide both sides by a. We're solving for x here, remember. So we're dividing both sides by a. So we have x plus b over 2a squared equals. So this divided by a is b squared over 4a squared. And this divided by a is c over a. Now we take the square root of both sides. X plus b over 2a equals plus or minus the square root of b squared over a squared minus c over a. And just to wrap this up here on this side, let's go ahead and subtract this from both sides. So we have x equals negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of b squared over 4a squared minus c over a. Now, I'm going to need to combine these two fractions. And I'm going to do it an easy way here. I'm just going to make this denominator the same as this. And in order to do that, I'm going to multiply numerator and denominator by 4a. So if I multiply this by 4a over 4a, that's a form of 1. 4a divided by 4a is 1. And that gives me 4a squared. 4a squared. So these denominators will be the same. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll wrap that up here. So let's go put this guy up here. And that gives us x equals negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root. And what we have is this term. So it's b squared over 4a squared minus 4ac. So that's 4ac all over 4a squared. Now I can combine these two fractions into one. So that gives me x equals negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 4a squared. Well, now since this is a perfect square term down here and it's inside the radical, I can take the square root of this, because this is the same as saying the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over the square root of 4a squared. And the square root of 4a squared is simply 2a. So this gives me x equals negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over the square root of 4a squared, which is 2a. And now you notice these two fractions are the same on the bottom. So I can combine those. So I have x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, and this whole thing is over 2a, and there is the quadratic formula. So it's a nice little exercise. It's a little bit nasty at first, but I would suggest working through this in practice. If you couldn't do this on your own, try it again until you can get to the point where you can work through from start to finish and get your final form, because this is going to be really, really good practice for you in handling the rigor and organizing your work. Notice how I organized the work. It was top to bottom, left to right, and organization of your work is going to be critical in calculus. Well, that will wrap up this video, and we will continue working with the rest of our topics in the next video. So I will talk to you then.